Rene Bastarache here with the American School of Hypnosis. How's everyone doing? And we are live and just waiting for some people to come on. And today we're going to have fun chatting about all kinds of cool things. And we're doing it from my phone again. It seems to be the phone is the least problematic for YouTube right now. And do some adjusting here. Oops, this is my desk going up and down. The only problem is with the phone, sometimes, oops, let's see, there's the camera, okay. Sometimes you have it this way, sometimes you have it that way, and it's hard to tell where the camera is. So we are live, and I just want to make sure everything's working. So if anyone is out there watching, go ahead and let us know that you see us live. And Raluca, if you can see me live, to make sure that it is on public and not unlisted. And while waiting for someone to come on, I'm going to do this same thing and see if I can actually see me on another system. Here we go. Oh, there's Raluca. She just came on. And let's see. That's going to make a lot of noise here in a second. So if anyone is here, go ahead and chime in, say hi, tell me where you're from. And let's see what we can do here. I need to switch my accounts. I have like several accounts here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we're just waiting for someone to come in, and sometimes it's difficult to get people to pop in on the YouTube Live. Raluca, is it on the right site, the American School of Hypnosis? Okay, because I know I was just on my Rene Bastarache account, and I want to make sure that I was on the computer, and I don't know if they go from one thing to the other on the phone as well. Let's see, so as soon as we get somebody on, go ahead and chat and let us know that you're here. And I'm stalling because I'm still trying to get set up on the computer. She's just not going to live chat. And let's see. So we have somebody else on there. And we got several people on there, so whoever you are, go ahead and let us know who you are, where you're from, and we will go ahead and get started. Let's see, why am I having such a hard time signing in, signing out? Okay, I think we are just about there. If you folks ever do YouTube, don't get multiple accounts. I tell you, sometimes that can really mess with your minds. Okay, trying to sign in. Here we go. It's signing in. It wants my password. Nobody look. Okay. And I think we're getting there. Whoa. I just clicked on the right button. Okay, everything seems to be buttons. And there we are. It says live now. Ooh, I am live now. So we are cooking here. And sure enough. So, Eugene, okay, I always know Eugene from Lancaster's on that I must be on the right account. Yay! And let's see, we got a problem. One problem we need to take care of right over here. Hold on one second. And oops. There we go. We had too much light and too much wind in the system. So, today, what I wanted to speak about is the conscious and subconscious mind. We're going to have a little fun talking about it. And I'm going to start out by throwing a question out to you, Eugene, since you're my audience, and anyone else who happens to be popping in. Why are people so negative? What's your thoughts? Why is I'm going to go as far as saying, why is the conscious mind so negative? So go ahead and let me see what your response is. As we want to talk about that today is why is the subconscious mind negative? Excuse me, the conscious mind negative. And we will go from there. And it takes there's a little bit of a delay, I realize, from me to you. So anyone else who's watching, think about that. Why is the conscious mind geared negatively? Self-preservation and overdrive. Okay. Hi, Bo. Good to see you. Because the subconscious can only take positive words. Because the subconscious can only take positive word actions. Okay. And that's kind of what I was going to get into, is the subconscious mind is positive. It does not understand negative. It only focuses on the positive. So if you say, I don't want this, or let's say I don't want scissors, okay? It's focusing on scissors, so it thinks you want the scissors. So if you say, I don't want a bad relationship, you're focusing on bad relationship, and that's what you're going to have. I don't want to be broke. All these things, that's what you're focusing on. So the subconscious being, I guess you could say, non-judgmental. I shouldn't say it's just positive. It focuses on, whatever you focus on is what it attracts. There's no negative, so it's literal. It kind of gives no judgment at all. So if you like something, you don't like something, it's not going to make a judgment. That's all the conscious mind, isn't it? So think of it this way. The conscious mind is geared negatively. If you go up to somebody and I say, Eugene, you're the most handsome guy I've ever seen before. You're going to go, okay, what's Rene trying to sell me? Okay, what's he want? Does he want money? Is he going to hit me up for something? As soon as you say something positive, go to a woman and say, oh, you're beautiful. She's like, what, is my slip showing? Am I wearing the wrong earrings? She's going to wonder why you're saying that. Very few people, when you give them a compliment, will actually say, thank you. Try that sometime. It's hard to do, okay? You say thank you when somebody compliments you. So we're geared negatively, especially when somebody's trying to tell us something positive. Neutral. That's so true. Now, Eugene, you said that's so true. What I said is so true, or when I said you're the most handsome person that I know? Okay, that's what I'm wondering. Now, think about it in the world. Okay, there's so much negativity in the world. Raluca and I were talking about this earlier. She goes, why is there so much negativity comparing to positive? We were talking about positive affirmations. I don't know if you folks have seen this video. It came out, probably about 8 years ago. It was of positive affirmations. It was this little girl, and let me know if you've seen this. It was a viral YouTube video. This little girl, she must have been probably 4 years old, and it was her going to the bathroom. She climbed up on a stool, got on the vanity out front of the big, bathroom window, bathroom mirror, and she started singing, I'm so good, I'm so smart, I can, she had a hairbrush, and I can do anything better than anyone else. I'm so happy, I love my mom, I love my dad, and she was going on and on and on with all the positivity. And the thing is, this video was awesome. You watch it, and it was probably a 4-minute video or so, but afterwards you were so pumped up. It was such a fun video to watch. But where'd it go? Raluca was saying, how come we don't, hear from that anymore? Of course, that girl now, I saw a video of her a while back where she was being interviewed, and she was, I think she was a teenager already, but she was talking about all the publicity she got from that. I mean, it was everywhere. It was on commercials. And she was saying, well, that was so short-lived. How come there's so much negativity and it lasts so long? But I think that's where we're not really thinking about it. That specific thing, that specific movie was short-lived, and each negative thing is just as short-lived, but there's so many more of them that it seems like they're just going on and on and on and on forever, okay? So, and I think the conscious mind needs to be entertained. It needs to, keep focus. There needs to be what I call the shock factor. I mean, the subconscious mind is always busy. It's just taking in every bit of information. Everywhere I look, there's something to take in, you know? But the conscious mind, it takes in so little of it, but it gets bored. So here's an example, okay? If you're watching TV and watching the news, and the news showed, oh, fireman rescues a puppy today, you go, oh, that was, that's nice, that's cute. And then, oh, here's a woman, she made a really nice cookie looking like Abraham Lincoln. Isn't that cool? Oh, that's interesting. And, you keep on watching just pretty things like that and neat things. Here's a cute kitten. You flick the channel and it says, there's a volcano that erupted over here in Hawaii and we wiped out the main island. You're like, whoa, you want to watch that? And then earthquakes and, Unabomber and all these different, the shock factor gets you, So the conscious mind is always looking for more and more shock. And as we were talking about it this morning, I started thinking about, look at the difference in trends. Trends even in clothing, okay? I look back at my probably grandparents, and what was the trend back then? No maxi dresses, page 227 in positive thing. Okay, I think you guys are having different conversations, so I'm going to let you guys talk. And we'll try to keep this focused on what we're talking about as well. But anyways, my grandparents, it was like, a Little House on the Prairie type thing. They were wearing maxi dresses and, ties, kind of like Donald Trump is still wearing a suit and a tie, okay? But a lot of people don't do that anymore. But especially for women's clothing, okay? It went from the prim and proper, the big hats. Remember those big hats and everything? Now, their children wanted to be radical. They wanted attention. So what did they do? The only way to get attention is to shock their parents. So that was when rock and roll came around, okay? So rock and roll came around and they had the, I guess, mini skirts, I think they called them back then. Mini skirts and dressing with, no more hats, running around. Nike shoes weren't there yet and Seekers weren't there yet, okay? But that was radical. Now when the mini skirt generation grew up, their children had to shock them. So then they came up with hot pants and spandex and all that. And oh, the shock factor, okay? But they got the attention. So what can shock them? Well, today, people can wear, Band-Aids and G-strings and it's okay. So that even shocks the spandex people. So what is going to shock today's people? The only thing I could think that could shock people today is that if people went back to wearing the maxi dresses and clothing and the big hat, okay? Be great for the material industry too. But by going back, that shocks them and you can see the cycles going around and around. And their kids are going to shock them and their kids are going to shock them. That's why I think it was my mother was saying, she was saying, oh, I have all this outdated clothing. She goes, but I'm going to hang on to it because it's going to come back, okay? So you see, the shock factor, I think, is a big reason for the negativity. You look at the news, okay, all the different news stations today, what are they putting online? Negativity, negativity, negativity. By just watching the news within 20 minutes, you feel like you need to take a shower. Everything is so bad and so negative out there. And that's a big reason for the stress we're experiencing today, okay? I think I mentioned in a lot of my trainings before, we spend approximately 80% of our lives in a state of stress, maybe even more today. Exactly, Eugene. It's garbage. There's a lot of garbage out there. But, the problem is garbage in, garbage out. That's what we're focusing on as a world. We're seeing all this stuff, and it's creating more of it because you are, they say, well, you are what you eat, you are what you focus on. So you keep on focusing on negativity, more negativity is going to come. And, we want, we get bored. We need entertainment. And what's entertainment? Entertainment is all this negative stuff, the shock factor, the bad things, the shootings in schools, all that, The number of YouTubers that brought this up this year is amazing, Bo said, that brought this topic we're talking about, or We need skills to cope with the shock. Exactly. Yeah, now I get what you mean. And there needs to be skills. People don't know how to cope. See the difference? If you put an E at the end of the word, it's cope. With no E, it's cop. I have something going across my screen, so I missed the E. But yeah, we need to be able to cope with it. But there's so much negativity, and the reason we need to cope with it is because negativity causes stress. And as soon as you become stressed, a couple things happen. Number one, it shuts off your immune system. Oh boy. You want to see why there's so many people, so many sick people in the world today? Their immune system shut off most of the time. And number two, it shuts off the use of the frontal lobe, which is your independent thinking. It's hard to find someone who thinks independently in this world, right? And what's the bad part about that? Without the frontal lobe, you make decisions through your past. So think about that. You make decisions through your past. Something happens and you associate it with your past to decide what you're going to do. You don't look at the problem and try to deal with it. With your frontal lobe, you just say, here's how I deal with that problem. But without the use of the frontal lobe, you go to the other 90% of the mind, which is this, your memories, your past, because 10% is original thinking, 90% of your thinking comes from your past. So what are your experiences? So again, that helps, the negativity breeds negativity. So it's just going to continue going. Let's see, let me see some of the comments. Good recovery. Let's see, how to get rid of beliefs that people would beat you up if you stutter. Okay, I think you're talking about a whole different thing. Okay, that's something else we need to speak to probably about in a private chat. Okay, there's a lot of negative people that are going to get on you about everything, but we're talking about just negative thoughts of the conscious mind. The subconscious doesn't have that negative thinking. To me, it's kind of like there's no right or wrong. There's wise or unwise thoughts. Okay, things are as they are. You might like being here right now. You might not like being here right now, but it is what it is. You're here. Okay, you might, want to go to work. You might not want to go to work. Okay, most of us don't want to go to work, but it is what it is. It's not right or wrong. It just is. But we tend to, or the conscious mind tends to have an opinion. Okay, again, look at any, someone mentioned, I think Bo mentioned about YouTube. Look at any YouTube video, a popular one, okay, something with a lot of comments, and go down the comments and just see every single person has their own opinion, and most of them are negative. First, there's the political opinion, then there's a religious opinion, then there's the, Baba's opinion, the redneck, then there's this one, the lefty, the righty. But let's see, if you think on it, you become tuned. This is both. If you think on it, you become tuned to seeing it more, even if it isn't there. Okay, one more line. Talk to me. Are we talking about this here now? If you think on it, you become tuned to seeing it more. Let me move something here so I can read the whole, there we go. It is used to generate more attention. Yeah, a lot of the negativity, I think, is there for a reason. People realize that they're going to, by putting certain things on the news or putting certain things on the television, it's going to make you think certain ways. Look at the pharmaceutical commercials. Let's pick on the pharmaceutical companies, Are you feeling down? Do you breathe when you get up in the morning? Do you close your eyes when you go to sleep at night? Then you need the blue pill, because that's not normal. Call your doctor. You see what I mean? They're creating fear in people to call their doctor. They're creating a problem, and they're giving you the solution, which is this doctor who usually doesn't know any more than you about it. Because, of course, the medical establishment isn't there to heal you. Their credo is to treat the symptom, not to heal the person. If that happens, great, but it's usually a side effect, because by treating the symptom, you have another symptom and another symptom. Maybe it's a symptom from the pill they gave you. Maybe it's a symptom that, this didn't work, so they have to treat that or this. But the more they can treat the symptom, the bigger the business, the more money they can bring in. But if I was in the business of healing you, I'm out of business, because once you're healed, there's nothing else. But if I can keep it going, you see what I mean? Repetition formed a certain belief. That's true. Reluka just said repetition. And that's what hypnosis is all about. Think of it. It's repetition. That's why we tell you, when you have a script, a proper script, there'll be a lot of repetition in it, You're healthy, you're happy, and we like to repeat it because the more repetition, the more it becomes a habit. And through repetition, you create habit. Habits continually done become your beliefs. That's why it's so easy to change a belief. I mean, most people have the same beliefs they were taught, from children. Your beliefs were most likely your parents' belief and their beliefs. But someone who changes, let's say changes their religion or changes, whatever it might be, it's through repetition. You do something over and over and over so you can change a habit and change a belief. And all of a sudden, you believe something totally different. Repetition of positivity also, positivity. Come on, Bo, use easier words to pronounce, will ya? Also work. And that's the whole idea of hypnosis, is using the repetition of you're a non-smoker, you're healthy, you're happy. You see what I mean? The more repetition you could use in positive things will get positive. See, they are not here to help. It's just for the money. Let's see, IBM, you're talking about the pharmaceuticals? A lot of that is, and some of them do help. But on the other hand, I know a lot of people who are taking 27 and 28 pills a day, and each one counteracts the other one. So they need a pill to take that to counteract that one and to counteract this one. And I know Reluka is very much into the alternative things. She uses hawthorn berries and this and that for all these, so we don't have to take pills. Matter of fact, it was funny. I spoke to somebody the other day, and they said, you must take blood pressure pills, and you should take this, you should take that. And I said, no, don't need anything. Again, it's a mindset. If you feel what you focus on, you become. If I want to focus on being sick, yeah, I'm going to be sick. It's funny. If you've ever been to the VA hospital, I'm a veteran, yes, and so I've been to the VA place a few times, probably in the last 15 years, and when you walk in, it's enough to make you want to run out, because you'll see, 6 or 7 veterans get together in a huddle there, and one saying, "Oh, I got shot and on the arm right here," and the next one, "Oh, I got shot here in the chest." One guy said, "Well, I lost this leg," and it's like a competition. The one with the most injuries, the most medical problems, the most pills is like at the top rung. You hear. I know family gatherings sometimes. I used to go to family gatherings years ago where you hear everyone talking about he's diabetic and this one has cancer and this one has this and this one has that and we're all going to get this, And the thing is, where's the children when all this is being said? They're right in the other room playing within earshot of how they're supposed to be. How they're supposed to, they're going to get all the sickness when they get older. So guess what they're focusing on? When they get older, becoming sick. It was funny when I was, I'm going to hit you with something personal here, just to my few closest friends right here. So I'll whisper it. No, talk about mental conditioning. All my life, I had heard through different family gatherings how so many people have died, especially the men, by the time they reached 40 years old. Okay? So in my mind, I got this belief that I wasn't going to live till past 40. So when I was getting in the late 30s, I was kind of organizing a lot of things in my life, figuring I'm not going to make it to 40. I had a good life, At the time, at around 39, 40, I was a single dad raising 4 girls by myself. And I was a hypnotherapist at the time. And I remember this was like, years ago. That's how many years ago, right? Yeah, I could definitely say it was years ago. And at the time, I was having chest pain. I went to the VA hospital to have the chest pain checked out, find out what it was. And they were doing their test, this test, that test, this test. And at dinner time, somebody had dropped the ball, doctor went home and all that. So the records kind of got crossed. I don't know how, but anyways, they sent me home. About a week later, I get a call from the VA hospital saying, Rainey, we need you to come down to the West Roxbury, Massachusetts VA hospital at 1 o'clock this afternoon. It was early morning they called. We have an anesthesiologist and a surgeon here for your bypass surgery on hand because somebody had to cancel, so we're all set for you to come down now. And I'm like, bypass surgery? Because they never told me what was wrong. So I figured, hey, I'm one of these people, I believed in the doctor. You know, they say, ask your doctor, ask your doctor. I believed in what they said. So I had a nanny at the time. I got my nanny power of attorney for the kids, and I said bye to my mother and took care of everything. And I got a friend of mine to drive me, because they said not to drive, all the way down to West Roxbury, Mass, one way. I said I won't need a ride back. You see what's going on in my head? This is kind of like the programming. So I went all the way down there, and they put me on the table, rushed me in there to get everything going. And there was complications, and I died on the operating table. I actually died. Not for a long time, okay, because they brought me back, and here I am. You're not watching a past life type thing. So I actually died on the operating table. I didn't think about it that much, but I realized probably about a year later, when that happened, I was 40 years old. So I died when I was 40. All the programming I had, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. It actually came true. So you got to be careful what you say around your kids, or, the things that you allow yourself to take in. How many times have you heard a doctor say, this guy has 6 months left to live, for cancer, and the person dies 6 months to the day, right on the date? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why we tell people when a doctor says you have 6 months or 3 days or whatever left to live, that's a death sentence. They shouldn't say that. Someone's trolling videos. Yeah, unfortunately, when you go live, you have a lot of strange people putting in their comments because everyone has their own agenda. Okay. I was going to say that earlier. When you see all these comments below a video, how they have the negativity and everyone has their own opinion, because the subconscious doesn't have an opinion, but consciously we all have an opinion. And it's funny when you see all these different comments, and that's wrong, and I think this is wrong. All the comments, if you think about it, usually are a reflection of the person. Okay, because your comments come from your subconscious, your past, how you understand things. So when you have comments underneath videos and somebody says, I think that's wrong because of this, because of that, and those are usually the problems they're having in their own life or what they've experienced on their own. Just as well as the negative comments, okay, what I call the haters, when they come in. They did a survey. Do you realize that approximately 80% of the negative comments that you get below a video are kids under the age of 11 years old, between, say 11, 12, and down? It's amazing. They got nothing to do. They sit around, so that's why you don't want to do these things on the weekends, okay? And they just type, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this. And people get so upset when they read these comments. But like Raluca says, when you see negative comments, that means you get a lot of viewership. So you're doing good. So give me the negative comments, But it's funny. Most of them are kids. And I know in the beauty industry, where Luca's watching the videos in the beauty industry, she'll see these people that she knows doing videos, and they're getting so upset because of all these haters telling them that they're ugly and they should, but they're little kids. And if you click on the name and go back, you'll see, it's Bobby with a spoon, and they're probably home from school, and their mommy didn't know they're playing on the computer. Okay. Again, if they can get somebody to give them attention, hey, I know who you are. If you give them the attention, they feel like they won. But everyone has their own agenda. Okay. Let's see. Much like the subconscious. Exactly. So I want to go back to the question I asked before when only Eugene was on. Eugene, you're still here. Okay. We were talking about how the conscious mind is geared negatively, whereas the subconscious doesn't basically have an agenda. Okay, the subconscious doesn't understand negative. So why do you think the conscious mind is geared negatively? Okay, one of the reasons we came up with is because, there's a shock factor. Everybody wants a shock factor to, because it's bored all the time. But why do you think the conscious mind is geared negatively? Because the conscious mind is a lot different than the subconscious. This it's almost like two different people, two different kind of people trying to mesh together. There's a lot of clashing going on there. Let's see. Hanks Lee. Hello, everyone. I'm late again. Hanks Lee. Now, when I see that, okay, I'm going to pick on you. Are you familiar with Hank Lee? Not as a relative, but before I got into hypnosis, I was a magician for a while. It used to be Hank Lee's Magic Factory out of Boston. So every time I see that name, I always think of Hank Lee. So, and if you are Hank Lee and you're in hiding, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to tell anybody about you, but so every time I see your name, Hanks, I always think, oh, magician's here. Okay, let's see what we have. The negativity is used to access danger and need, to assess danger and need. Okay, in overdrive, it's a problem. Yeah, well, the conscious mind can be, when they say you're your own worst enemy, yeah, it can be. The conscious mind, oops, hold on, I'm trying to move this around because I've got a button on my phone. If it touches, we're going to have a kaboom. There we go. I don't want it to shut off. Yeah, the conscious mind, again, is very judgmental. Like I said, it doesn't, I said this earlier at the beginning for those of you that weren't there, it doesn't accept positive very well. If you say somebody's beautiful or they're handsome or they're intelligent, they're like, what do you want? What are you trying to sell me? They just don't believe it. And if you don't believe me, go to the person nearest you right now and give them a really big compliment. See how they respond. How much money you want, What do they say? When you want something, you always give somebody a compliment sandwich. You say something really nice. Then you tell them what you want, what you want or what you need, or even if you're, going to fire somebody, okay, and then you end it with something nice. So nice, the problem, nice, so the compliment sandwich. Alan, good to see you. We'll forgive you for being late just because you said you love our stuff, okay? That's fine. So again, see the compliment. See, Alan's doing it. He was watching quietly. He says, "Oh, I'm going to give him a compliment sandwich." I like that. So, what else? What else did I have to talk about? Just the conscious mind likes the shock factor, doesn't like to be bored, and it wants to be entertained. For those of you who've seen the movie. What was it with Jim Carrey? Oh God, where he was started out as a newscaster in the beginning of the movie, and it was funny. He always wanted the big story. Of course, as a beginning news person, he wasn't the best one, I guess. So they kept on giving him these movies, these gigs where, the old lady on Niagara Falls on a boat, or this one cooked a cookie looking like this person, but nobody ever really watched him because everyone was watching the major stuff. So. Again, that's what the conscious mind likes to see. So the conscious mind, we know, is geared negatively. It is, how do I say it? It's dual. It's naturally has a duality to it. It's kind of like my conscious mind says, I'm me, I'm separate, you're you. So there's a me, there's a you. Whereas with the subconscious mind, it's oneness. It's everything. There's no me, there's no individuality. It's interesting because the conscious mind is kind of like a tape recorder. Okay, you turn on a tape recorder, or actually a video recorder, even better, and it picks up everything. So let's say you took a video right now outdoors, and the video did a 360, and you played the video, and you were right there with it. Then you came back in the house, and you tried to remember everything that happened. The conscious mind will be like you trying to remember everything that happened. You want to know more? You got to play the video again. Hey, good to decourage this here. And so every time you play the video, you're picking up more. But on the video, it picked up everything: the sounds, everything. The 360, the crickets, the dogs barking next door. But consciously, you're only picking up maybe 10%, or the bits and pieces that were important to you. So subconscious, you have everything when you experience it. It's like the tape recorder. Consciously, you pick up bits and pieces. Now, that's interesting to know, and what good does that do me? Well, there's a big reason why it's important to know that. Okay, let's say you and somebody else, you're here, and let me go this way here. Okay, let me tell you why I put this up, and I say, what do you see? Okay, so you have a different perception of everything. You're looking at this, and you're seeing the cup that says Dunkin' Donuts. Now, I'm not seeing the same thing as you. So if we had a discussion later and said, what was that Rene was holding up? And I'm going to hold this up and do a little Dunkin' Donuts commercial, right? They get a big part of our money every day anyways. Okay. But see, if we had a discussion about this later, what did you see? What did I see? What's important about it? We couldn't come to grips because we're seeing a different thing. You're seeing this, and I'm seeing everything that's being ordered. You see what I mean? Do you want it black? Do you want cream? Do you want this? Do you want that? So I'm seeing the same two different things because we all have a different perception. So we're looking at things a different way. And can you hypnotize me right now? Boom, you're sleepy. There we go. So, hi, Darlene. So by us all having different perceptions, by us all having different experiences, a different past, you and I can see the same thing, but you only pick up bits and pieces of it because like the tape recorder gets everything, but you only could grasp so much. So you grasp the part you understand, you associate it with your past, what's happened to you, and then when you speak to someone about it, they have a totally different outlook on it. So that's why you have people in different countries that both think they have the best religion, both think they have the best sports team, both think they went to the best college, okay? And you can argue and argue and argue, and they don't see eye to eye because, you know, you're talking about one part, I'm talking about another. You might hate coffee, I might love coffee. So you can't both come to the same thing. And that's the problem that we have with the conscious mind, okay? So if we all can just communicate, you know, consciously, oh boy, or subconsciously, that would be wonderful. You know, everybody close their eyes, let's all go into hypnosis together and find out what everyone else is thinking. Oops. Oh, it looks like Eugene has to go. Oh, hey, Eugene, thanks for coming. You're the first one, usually you're the last one to leave, okay? And let's see, how are we doing time-wise? Oh, boy, okay, usually we like to go half an hour, and we already did. So anyways, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ainsley, boy, you're going to have to talk with simpler words to pronounce. I get too much tongue in my mouth, I guess. Do subliminal messages work in training your subconscious new beliefs? Well, bye, Eugene. Subliminal messages do work if they're made the right way. There's a lot of different kind of subliminals. Some people will say, oh, this is in my subliminals. It has this, it has that. And if you listen to it and even broke it down on a computer, you find out that maybe there's nothing there. However, if they say it's a subliminal for confidence and you believe it's a subliminal for confidence and there's no subliminals in there, it can still help you because you believe. Empathic listening is needed by the hypnotist. Very true. Very true. But getting back to the subliminals, so if you wanted to make subliminals, try making your own. Okay, all you need to do, Hanks is leaving too, everybody's leaving me. All you need to do is record your message, okay, on a digital player. And if you want, you can record, especially if you have a studio, you can get a lot of these free online different programs where you can get different levels. So you record something and you record something else and record something else. But record your messages and then record maybe another line of some kind of music you like. I like to put crickets in it because when the music dies down, you hear the words a lot and the crickets will cover it up. But basically, you don't have to make it so you don't hear the words, but just so enough that as you're listening to it, you're not resisting. Think about it. What is a subliminal? It's just basically something that you're listening to that's being masked by something else so you don't resist. Because the conscious mind is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not antagonistic, but it kind of challenges things. Okay, so it's resistant, there's the word. So it's going to resist positive suggestions, or it tries to. Even though sometimes you want to quit smoking, but there's that resistance. So the nice thing about a subliminal is you're able to mask the words with something else. Kind of like if you went to a party where there's 20 people speaking. Okay, you ever notice that? Go to a party where there's 20 people speaking. If you focus on one couple, you can understand what they're saying, but everything else is white noise, subliminal. You see what I mean? But then you stop and you focus on this other couple, you're listening to them, but now that person's subliminal. And guess what? The subconscious mind understands everything. There's no limits. So every one of those conversations is in your subconscious mind. Like I mentioned earlier about the video player outside, everything's recorded. You only remember consciously a little bit of it, but if you went back and replayed it, you'd be able to pick up more each time. So yeah, I think subliminals work great for anything if they're made right, if they really have a message on there, and if the message is positive. Because even subliminal, you're not going to accept anything against your nature or against your standards, okay? So that's it. I want to thank you all for coming by. And Sachin Tyagi, I hope I said that right. Hi to you too. Thanks for joining us when we're leaving. And I will be back on Monday at 12. We're on every Monday and Wednesday at 12. And of course, make sure you subscribe, because every Tuesday and Friday we have pre-recorded training and tidbits that we put up here. So thanks all for coming. And for those of you that were asking, yes, we still have 2 days left of our early bird special for the course that we just wrote. We actually just wrote a mini course or a training on how to do instant and rapid induction.